Hello everyone, and welcome back to Miranda Pitrone Art. I know it's been a little while since I have been with you all, but I have been a busy bee working towards bulking up some inventory for a holiday market. So just wanted to take a minute here to show my website so you can have access in kind of a one-stop shop for everything that I do in my community. So color palette ideas, videos, my actual shop, connections to the Instagram. So we're gonna go here first just to kind of show you that this is the color palette page that I have on my Pinterest. And it is so helpful when I get stuck for ideas. I'll just pop in there and grab an idea for color palettes. I also have my video tab here, which will take you directly to my YouTube site eventually, depending on how fast your connection is. And I have all sorts of videos on here, including a playlist for the holiday themes and everything. All easy to find on the videos tab. One thing I'll say is social media has been a challenge these past couple years, so creating this website has been a much easier way to keep in touch with people. It's just getting the word out there that it is here and I am here. If you want to contact me, please don't try writing through Instagram or Facebook for things that are important, like an order request or something like that. Please come here to my contact page and just click this Get in Touch button. And it goes directly to my personal email where I can respond to you as soon as I get into the studio, or sometimes even on the go. But it's much, much more reliable. I'm not really sure. I've had multiple Instagrams shut down now at this point, and I'm just posting art, so I don't know what it is, but this is a much better way to say hello, talk about orders, talk about tools, ask me questions that you want an answer to, or you can comment in the YouTube comments, because I haven't had many problems with that I can think of right now. So here's my shop, and I try to put links to most of the things that I use in each video down in the description, but also most of the popular ones I put here in my shop because I'm just trying to make them available to people, especially overseas. They don't have a lot of access, so I get them and make them available. All right, nobody wants to hear me talk about that all day, so let's get to it with this fun little tree that I found at the Dollar Tree. They are, I don't know, they're doing a lot of great little wood cutouts this year. I found coffee mugs, I found Christmas trees, I found Santas and reindeer and all sorts of stuff. So this fun little tree is what we're going to paint today. And I usually just kind of come up with a color scheme initially, no idea what I want to do for a design. So I just picked kind of a Christmassy color scheme for greens and like a silvery white, and I also want to test out a couple of pens, paint pens. So for now, I'm just going to paint a black background on this. Find that black helps the colors really pop, but also it puts kind of a barrier down to help the other paints not soak into the wood so much. But also one of the things that'll help that is varnishing. So I'm just going to go over it here with some black, but also if you spill on it or you make a mistake, which I hate to say that word, but you know, if you put down some paint on it that you don't want, it's way easier when you have a background color to just kind of take your background color and just gently go over it, scrape most of the paint off if it's still wet, and then go over it with the black, and then you can restart that area. And I'm just gonna let that dry there for a minute. A lot of times I'll use even a foam paintbrush to just kind of put in the backgrounds. This is just a large flat brush, soft flat brush. And that way it'll just give me an opportunity to get it coated. So this is just another quick thing while that's drying to mention there's this stuff called wood reclaim, and it will fill in basically the cracks for your wood. So if you're doing something like these, wood slices, it will kind of fill in the grain so that you can paint upon it. Or if you have something that's really rough, because this is even sanded, but I might even put a little bit of the wood reclaim, just a coating over it to help you paint on it. Or even the varnish, you know, take the varnish and just do, like I was saying, a coat or two of the varnish so that your paints don't soak into the wood. Because these sometimes will feather because it's kind of like a press board. So you'll see the paint kind of soak into the cracks. So you could also use something like this, just a high gloss varnish. And I think I probably will do that on this one just to kind of, so I know I'm going to be using paint markers later. And a lot of times, especially the oil-based ones, I find that they soak into the wood and they'll start to kind of feather. So we'll try this and see if that helps us. But also at the end, I'll revarnish it again, and I want to make sure that these paint markers aren't going to bleed. So. All right, so I am just going to kind of delineate areas here. This is my etcher tool, and I'm just going to kind of sketch in, dividing up each section of the tree, because I'm going to do a little bit of a different design in each section of the tree. So I'm just gently kind of scratching it in here, but when I varnish over it again, you won't see the lines anymore. So there's nothing to erase like pencil or chalk. It doesn't always work on every single piece. Sometimes the plaster stones get scratched, but I just kind of gently etch on top of the black. Now I'm using the angle spot detailer. This is a paintbrush. And you can just use your dotting tools or whatever it is that you're using to do this design as well. It is possible to do the swipes with those. In fact, I've just put out some tips and tricks. I'm going to start doing the shorter videos again with just a few tips and tricks. But so I'm using the brush, and you just kind of push down a little harder at the beginning and let up to get the tail when you're using a brush. And this is the crystal green from Deco Art Metallics. Such a great holiday color, of course, because it has glitter, metallic, and it's green. So just along each of the edges here, I'm going to do a green swipe of that. I'll do it on both sides to kind of even out our design. The thing about swipes too is just taking your time. This last one on the bottom section, I'm leaving a little space at the bottom because I'm going to do a horizontal swipe across underneath it. So we're kind of outlining the tree with swipes. And now I'm going to take this silicone oval dotting tool. I have these in the shop as well. Everything I use I have links for in the description for you all. I'm going to take the Sterling Silver Extreme Sheen. Oh my gosh, this paint is delicious. I've been using that a lot lately, and I promise I don't want to eat paint. I just am so enamored by the glittery metallics that are out there now. So this Sterling Silver Extreme Sheen, it's almost white. There's not really a lot of silvery gray, and it's just super shiny and glittery. So we'll do one there at the top in the center, one oval, and we'll do another oval here. We'll split those up space-wise to just kind of divide up the tree. So on either side of the middle here, a little space from the edge, we'll put an oval. The extreme sheens can be a little tacky at times, so there's a string that will come, it'll stick to your tool a little bit. Just make sure the string drops back down into your dot, because if you pull it across your piece, then you'll have a big stripe there. Okay, so this is an angled stylus. Okay, so with the stylus now, just want to show you that you can do the swipes with this as well. So I'm using the smaller end, and I'm just going to start with one up here. We're just going to tuck it right into where the star would point. Come to a point there. And then I'm also going to use this to kind of delineate our sections here. So right over here. And then pull the paint slowly out to a point. One good thing too is to check your tools depending on what you're using, and then see how far that tool will let you drag the paint that's loaded. And then you'll have an idea of what designs you can add where, like how far you can drag that paint out. Right. A little bit farther. So see, you can just kind of keep grabbing the tail of that and pulling it more. So the tail, if you want it to go a little farther, just grab it without any paint on your tool. It'll grab from the last amount that you had there, so it'll already be thinner. And then at the bottom here, I think that I'm actually not going to drag out long ones for this. I'll make these, get my finger out of the way. Let's do a couple of short ones on either side here. So there's one, start at the tail of it, come to our stump, our tree stump. Same on this side. Whoop, I got a glub. Sorry, I'm trying to use up some of my older paints, and I think this one I left the lid open on. So here's an opportunity to see a cleanup. I take the silicone tool, scrape off the paint. And actually this one, because I did a varnish on it, it's even easier. And then I just wipe it on a wet wipe so that I can use it quick. Push down and kind of squeegee it out of there like it never was. So that might be the only time that I actually would say that you have a mistake if you add a blob. Alright, so that kind of delineates each section here of the tree. Alright, so while we're at it, we're going to go back to that sparkly green that we used first and go next to here. Kind of fill in the top of the tree. See, the slower you go, it stays dragging the paint, and you'll be able to pull it into the spaces that you need. And then I'm just putting them on either side at about the same height, just to kind of keep our design uniform here. Okay, and I think we're going to come down here in this zone and kind of break it up into... So in my mind I'm picturing how to break up the design at the bottom and just kind of figure it out here in my brain. So we will do... Here, I'll take the sparkly green here and do one up the middle. One swipe, and then I can divide maybe these two in half. They're kind of going to swoop it off, I think. Swoop it a little bit on an angle. So just above where I put that second swipe here, I'm going to start and just kind of angle it up a little. And then you kind of get that idea that the tree shape is that way. There. So I have to turn this so I can paint it for myself, but this way you get that idea. It just kind of delineates the flow of where the tree goes. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a little bit of my espresso here, which is pretty sparkly. And we'll just grab the tool again, since that's what most people use anyway, the dotting tools. And I'm going to, next to these two, just add another side to that. So we're going to turn these little guys into Christmas trees at the bottom, I think. Christmas tree on a Christmas tree. And then I'm just kind of overlapping the tails as I pull the paint. So let's take the espresso 2 and go down here to the stump, tree trunk. I guess it's only a stump if you cut it probably, huh? And we're gonna just make like a crisscross swipe. So start up here, come down across to that point. Start at the top near the tree base, come across, make an X, and then just drag it out to the other corner. Like that. Thinking maybe we'll add some more glitter to the edge here, debating it. Let's try our tree first and see if we can fit it afterwards. Alright, so with a little bit of a brighter green, I'm going to use my metal end of the etcher. Now some of you have said you've gotten this tool and haven't been able to use it to do anything with other than scratching onto the design, but I'm thinking it's the viscosity of your paint, like the consistency of your paint maybe needs to be just a little bit thicker. You can see here it actually is holding on to the tool, so maybe it's just the paint needs to be a little thicker. I'm honestly not sure why it doesn't work for some and it does for others, but so we're going to start at the top, start at the top, and just a little bit of the ways out we're going to do a little swipe and kind of point it up like we're making the branches on a tree. So we're dipping and then we're kind of dragging it up. And we're going to just stack them on top of one another here. Each time you're going a little bit farther out from the first one, the one ahead of it. And then you're just pulling them alongside. So you'll see we're starting to kind of make that shape of a tree here. Each time a little bit farther out and drag it in towards our trunk. A little bit farther out and drag it in towards our trunk. Now I want to say, because you guys know I do a lot of this in my head. I try to say what I'm doing. So you'll see here I'm kind of scratching it onto the wood, so it kind of connects the paint to the wood. So maybe that's another thing too that would be beneficial if your paint is not working to come off the tool to get onto your piece. So I'm kind of like wicking it to it, and then we can drag it up here. We'll do the same thing down the other side here. So I'm running out of room because I'm working with this wet. Hold my finger down here on this. Let's start just a little ways up and swipe it in. A little bit farther. Swipe it up and in. See how it's forming a little tree? You're just stacking the swipes. Stack the swipes. And don't be worried about it being perfect. You know, trees have branches that go all over the place. So add a little farther. Plus, it's art, remember? It's art. You're just enjoying some painting time, creating a little ornament here, just to have some fun. Alrighty, shall we see that again? Let's do our metal end of the etcher. And you're gonna start at the top and just make a little swipe up. And then a little farther out from that one, so you start an angle going. A little farther out, and drag it up and in. Up and in. Getting it off the tool so it gets started on the piece, in this case wood, and then drag it up and in. Sometimes you have to like wipe off the tool as it starts to dry on it. Also, you'll definitely have one side where you're more adept than the other, one side that's easier for you, like being left-eye dominant or right-handed, or just as like the way that it goes with muscle memory and the way our brains work. Oh, I scratched that one up. But there you have two fun little trees at the bottom of our Christmas tree. Okay, so I'm just kind of debating in here. I think that I want to do a scroll, so I want to kind of decide what direction to do these in. Do I want to make them at an angle? It just needs something in here, something different. So in my mind, I kind of just, again, feel out the pattern that I maybe want to try. That little design addition. So here's my middle here. I have to cut it a little smaller, I think, to fit that little curl in there. Alright, I'm gonna go for it. So this is where you could do some line painting, or you could try a set of the paint marker pens. There's lots of them out there. And the company that just sent me some to try, I'm wondering if I can, this is not a fine point, this is the medium tip, so I'm debating on whether or not I can squeeze this in. And here's the thing, I'm going to go for it and try it, and if I need to I can also black it out after. So you shake these up, depress the tip, and then it is all ready to go. Alright, and I did varnished this already once, so hopefully it won't soak too much in or feather out. Okay, so see how it's starting to feather right there? I maybe should have done another coat of varnish, but that's okay. So let's see, do I try? Let's squeeze one in here. And that one's feathering a bit too. That's not the end of the world. We can take our black that we painted our background with. And you can either just get rid of those altogether, or come back in here. I just like the smaller brushes. I'll just come in here with a small brush, and where it's feathering, I'm just gonna give it a little tap of black in there. Feathering, bleeding. That's probably another thing you could call it, is bleeding. It's bleeding into the wood, so I should have maybe put another coat of varnish. This wood was drier than I thought, so we'll wait for that to dry and it'll be fixed. Alright, so while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to start with the lighter green again that we did our little Christmas tree. And we're going to add some other elements in here. Maybe like a little branch. And then up here next to our center green, I'm just going to add in this lighter green highlight because it was looking like it was just standing out there alone. Plus I'd like to bring the green throughout the whole piece. And let's add a couple, maybe a little one here. And then I think I'm going to go back and grab our espresso, and I'll show you too here the dotting tool. You can use the small end. Let's go over here and then along the side, and then we'll do one on this side as well. I don't know if I want to try to squeeze it. You know what? We can overlap them. So I'm going to kind of overlap, go a little tad higher. And I feel like I need maybe one on either side here, but maybe not. Let me see. What do I want to do? Yeah, I think I'm going to. Or do we want to do the green? I know. Keep changing my mind in my head. I think I'm going to go with the espresso just because if we put more green here, it's just going to be like 3 trees in a row, or like just won't look right to my brain, I guess. This kind of helps break it up but tie in the colors. So maybe just kind of swoop it in from the outside there and drag it up with it. Same on this side. So the big test will be too to varnish over this marker, which I'm not liking how much it actually soaked into the wood, but it works really well on stones, and I probably could have varnished this twice like I said so that it wouldn't have soaked in as much. Alright, so now I'm just kind of looking at this, looking at my screen, coming back to it. I'm feeling like this feels like an empty area and I need to pull the white down into it. But you don't have to do this, but maybe we'll just put like a couple dots so it's like decorative but snowflake-like. It's like freckles, you know, it adds an accent. Super cute. And maybe we'll do it on the outside here too. So I'm just doing 3 dots of white. And I think I just need to put some silver for our star now. Alright, so a lot of you have seen me use these before. These are the liquid chrome Molotow markers. And these things are so great for shining that mirror shine of silver. And if you don't have them, obviously you can make your star your own color, gold, whatever you want to do here. But I am going to use these because they are liquid chrome, just super shiny. See, it's almost like a mirror. If you put like 2 or 3 coats on it, at that point you can start to see yourself in the reflection. It's awesome. And I think that does it for a little tree ornament here. So then you just pick out a nice piece of jute or twine or ribbon, just something fun to hang your ornament from, and you'll have a new tree ornament this year. I hope you guys had fun doing this. I'm thinking I will let it dry and then post a video afterwards on whether or not the marker varnished well without bleeding or smearing or anything like that. So I'm going to let it dry and varnish it, and then I'll show you guys again. So stay tuned. Alright, so I have my Liquitex varnish here. I just figured I'd show you all how I apply it. I use sponge brushes and I just gently kind of maneuver the varnish around. So I don't want to rub over, especially the paint marker, too much. Also, certain paints will smudge. Unfortunately, some of the acrylics will smudge when you're varnishing. And then I also pop any bubbles afterwards that are sitting there, because I'll just take the corner and just kind of pop it. Just because I don't want them sitting in there. They'll dry that way. So you just want to make sure it's smooth and not overworked. And just gives you a nice clear finish like that. See how it's a little cloudy? It will dry clear. It's helpful for placement, but don't brush it too much or it will start to bleed no matter what we try. So I did also on this one, I used the jelly roll, so I'm going to varnish this one as well to test it to see if this one runs or bleeds, because I don't remember if this does. It's been a while since I've used these. So we'll use the Liquitex on that as well. And I'll put that in our results here at the end of this video also to kind of see if it worked out well and didn't run. I'm just gently making sure that the varnish is all over the entire piece. Pop the bubbles. And then let it dry. See how shiny it looks? This is the high glass. I love it. Especially for shiny ornaments. Super fun for Christmas. Alright, so this is post-varnish. And I am happy to say that none of my trials smeared. I ended up trying the Jelly Roll pen, and that was this one. Didn't smudge after varnishing with Liquitex. I also used the paint markers that I showed earlier, and that was these. And then I also used another paint marker here, which was from Artistro. So that was this one. And it did feather a little. So again, it may be beneficial to varnish first or use the wood reclaim so that your paint doesn't soak into your ornament very much, especially the marker pens. So yeah, none of them bled. But I will say when I varnish, I just kind of pour it on and not overwork it, as you saw before. So I don't like to keep brushing it. So if you keep brushing it, not only will the varnish get cloudy on the rest of your paint, but it's probably going to smear these. So I try not to overwork it. I can't speak to spray varnishes or any other kinds. I only use the brush on, pour on ones, and I've not been very blessed with good results using the spray like the Krylons or any of those. So I don't use them. Ruin too many pieces. So just so you have that note from me, I'm super excited that now we have a few more options. I know Posca pens, P-O-S-C-A. I've seen people varnish over those as well. So good results. I think they're gonna get an A from me. I just want to say thanks. Feel free to comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay tuned at the end, there's a quick blip of the items that I used completely in this video, and then also I had some bloopers, so I'm going to tag them on to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you guys again soon. Happy painting! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Miranda Pitrone Art. Oh, might help if my camera is on. Alright, so as you can see from here in this picture, the trees are not in the picture. Well, there's one up there, but wrong picture. Sorry, guys. Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum. Let's see. Oop, wrong microphone. Ah, microphone's on. Mute, mute, mute. So these are the paint markers that I'll be using. I don't even know how to say this. Artico. I should have actually asked them for a phonetic way to say this. Articulo. Oh, okay. Does anybody know how to say this? I should write them and ask. That would have been the nice thing to do instead of assuming. But you can see what it says, and I'll post links. Blooper reel you go. So you just shake them up. But because I had already got it out here and sprinkling everywhere, so yeah, I should not have it on white paper either. Just press it and the paint will come out. But don't do it on white paper. And don't shake it after you've already done it. And don't hit record forever and ever. Baby wipes. They're your friend. Baby wipes, baby wipes. Alright, so we're going to start off. I'm just using a brush. And I'm going to start off just kind of doing swipes on the... What? Oh, man. Pay no attention to the girl behind the camera. Oh my gosh, just make a mess, Miranda, seriously. I'll put this in the blooper reel. So here's a lesson, everyone. Don't leave your paintbrushes or let your children or other people leave your paintbrushes in water, especially these nice wooden ones, because they will soak it up, expand the wand, and then they break. I probably can salvage it, you know, it's a new term. It means save your paintbrush. Salvage it with some kind of tape or something. But no, neglect is bad. It was ruined. It makes me sad. So most of you all know that I try to put all the descriptions in the description. The descriptions in the descriptions. The items that I use in the descriptions. So, oh my gosh. Yep, blooper. Items in the description. Descriptions in the description. Let's see, what color palette do I want to use? I'm on camera. Why is this recording? Don't look at my messy. Don't look at my messy studio. Thank you so much for watching and enduring that. I hope you had a good laugh at my expense and that made your day brighter. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for watching.